Okay, welcome to this learning resource on linking sentences. Linking sentences are a really powerful, useful device, conceptual tool that one uses for writing university level essays. So I would really encourage you to try and get to grips with how to use linking sentences. So this presentation consists of 3 parts. In the first section I disclose what I think the features of a linking sentence are, and then I give examples, and then I motivate for using linking sentences by way of invoking various advantages that I see to using linking sentences. What is a linking sentence? So linking sentences are also sometimes referred to as transition sentences, and this is because they transition your reader from one paragraph or section to the next. So linking sentences, what they do is they're connecting your sections to one another. So they transition from one section to the next section. So when you are using linking sentences, then your reader, and you'll see in a moment when I show the examples, your reader has confirmation that they are following your paper. So when you say, I've just done this and I'm about to do this, then the reader can go, you have just done this, and clearly I can see you're about to do that, and it makes sense. So it enables a smooth flow through your writing, because your writing doesn't appear haphazard. Structurally, it doesn't appear haphazard. It appears as if it's well thought out, and as if it has a logical flow, a logical smooth flow to it. And this helps overall with cohesion. So it makes your essay cohesive, it makes it hang together nicely and coherently. And then when you use linking sentences, also you're reducing the interpretive burden for the reader. So the reader is orientated, they know where they are, they know where they're going, and they don't feel as if they're lost or at sea when they're reading your work. So linking sentences very importantly relate to this other tool called a roadmap, and I would really encourage you to check out my video on a roadmap, the roadmap tool, because it just helps so much to structure your papers and to break your papers into small components and makes the writing a bit better, the reading a bit better, etc. So check that video out, please. Okay, look at these examples. So having defined speciesism, cultural relativism, and moral relativism, this essay now considers whether the speciesism critique of bullfighting can withstand the cultural relativist objection. So look at these linguistic cues, having defined. So that's communicating to my reader that in the previous section I defined speciesism, cultural relativism, and moral relativism. And now this transition sentence, this linking sentence, is saying what we're going to do next is we're going to draw on these definitions, and we're going to consider whether the speciesism critique of bullfighting can withstand the cultural relativist objection. Okay, so we gave our definitions, and then we say, look, having given these definitions, now we can consider our question. So this is a good example of a sentence that links one section to the next. Here's another example. The previous section argued that. Now, I've underlined that and highlighted that because that is another linguistic clue that sends a message to your reader and says, look, we've just done this and now we're going to do this. So the previous section argued that Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, or ZPD, is an appropriate theory of learning for stimulating economic history seminar discussions. The next section, there's my linguistic cue, I'm saying what's coming next. The next section links ZPD to Lorilard's conversation framework. So now that's a pretty clear example of a linking sentence or a transition sentence. Here's a very short one. Having disclosed this researcher's methodology and data set, this paper now addresses its core research questions. So linking sentences can be really, really short. They're very easy to write, and just remember, stick them in between your major components of your essay, between your major sections. So look, I'm just saying, having disclosed the researcher's methodology and data set. So the reader would have just read the methodology and looked at the data set, and now they know, okay, so we've looked at the methodology and data, and now we're going to, the paper's going to address the research questions. Here's another example. With the above definitions in mind, so obviously in this example we'd have just written out definitions, consider the following thought experiment, which I argue illustrates the strength of Kant's categorical imperative. So just transitioning your reader from one section to the next. What are the advantages? It really helps to orientate your reader. The reader knows where they are, they have their bearings, they have the sense that they are following, that their interpretation is being confirmed, they feel reassured. And importantly, when your writing is vivid and easy to understand, it means that your reader can use their cognitive labor, their brain power, to consider and critique your arguments or your essay or your writing, rather than using their cognitive labor or their brain power to follow your argument and interpret it. So, the way I think about it is that you want roughly, and these figures are kind of made up, but you get the sense of what I'm saying. You want sort of 70% of the cognitive work, the intellectual work on your reader's part, to go into critiquing and reflecting on what you're saying. And you want only about 30% of it, of the cognitive labor, to go into interpreting it. So that's why you should write in a way that's really understandable and easy to follow. And then when you use these linking sentences, you also show respect to your reader. You say, I appreciate that you're taking time to read my work, and I'm therefore going to make it as easy as I reasonably can for you to understand what I'm saying, and for me to communicate my case to you. Thanks very much for watching. Check out the other videos.